My favorite things to do when I travel are shopping for souvenirs, buying the local cuisine, and getting women pregnant.
Kyle Gordy's the kind of dude that we like to talk to in between rounds of Search and Destroy back in 2009, if you catch my drift.
You need to earn my lovin'. You have to earn it. There's points. We do a point system.
No, we're not doing a point system.
We are definitely doing a point system.
Dude thinks that he's a catch, but his genetics and personality are way below average. Well, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I guess he's a catch in a Chris Hansen kind of way, but that's about it. I, as well as you, know that being a fan of 90 Day Fiancé and all these spin-offs at times feels like the intro of Robot Chicken. You know, when the doctor pries the chicken's eyes open, so it's forced to watch all this nonsense.
I've had a few women that I've donated sperm to that have caught feelings for me, but I haven't really returned the favor.
In episode 1 of the current season of Love in Paradise, we unfortunately met Kyle, who right off rip told us that his hobby was sperm donation, and when he said this, it felt like everyone's soul left their bodies. Not only are you not getting paid for this, sir, it's your hobby to go around the world and impregnate women naturally and convince them that that is the more effective route to do it naturally, which isn't proven by science.
Using a cervical cup or having sexual intercourse, if you timed it well, it's going to give you the same odds. Some would say cervical cup will give you better odds because you're putting it close to the cervix, but that's never been proven. But I would say at least the same odds.
Kyle's a liar because not only has he said that on the show Love in Paradise, but he said that on Dr. Phil and all the other shows he's been on, because this man has been trying to be famous for the past 8 years or so.
Typically they'll come in, we'll sit like maybe on the bed, and then we'll just do some small talk. We'll say, hey, what's up? Like traffic or something. And then we'll say, okay, let's just do this. And it's like, okay, let's get naked and let's do this.
It is beyond unfortunate that there are over 72 children that have Kyle as a biological father. In fact, when it comes to Kyle and his girls segment, the only victims are the children. And speaking of Ani's son, there are rumors flying around within the 90 Day community that that's actually Kyle's son with her. Either way, we can add Ani, the 39-year-old woman that's living in Malta, to the long list of irresponsible and selfish 90 Day mothers, because if you do a quick Google search on Kyle, right away that's someone that no woman should want to breed with. For those of you that want the cliff notes, Kyle is a private sperm donor that has been taking advantage of vulnerable women for years, and his entire personality revolves around sperm donation. So I think the majority of the audience was surprised to see him on the show Love in Paradise, because this is a show about relationships. And how are you going to enter a relationship with a woman if you have an addiction for impregnating other women outside of your relationship? Like right away, that's cheating. And he made a pit stop in London to donate to a woman through natural insemination.
I'm going to Malta next week to see Annie for the first time. But first I made a pit stop in London to help a woman have a baby.
You know how Hitler had the circle of evil? I'm sure that a lot of y'all have watched that Netflix documentary. Well, Kyle has the circle of incel. Let's meet his buddies that he goes on swim meets with. And swim meets are when a bunch of incel passport bros that are private donors go to other countries and see how many girls they can knock up while there. It's almost like competition breeds excellence, except for in this case, not one of them is excellent. So the circle of incel. On the back of Sperm Donation Australia's success, Sperm Donation USA was created on 27 July 2018. We identified that the people of America deserve a higher standard group. Previously, all groups were run by men that wanted to fulfill their own agendas, and therefore the quality was compromised. With most of Adam's time invested in Sperm Donation Australia community, Kyle Gordy, owner of Sperm Donation World franchise, a very passionate, knowledgeable Californian donor to help lead the way. The USA community is a work in progress and we face many challenges, but we continue to strive in the right direction to offer you the safest platform to find a donor in the United States. Many other groups aspire to be like us, and some have even tried to imitate us to trick people.
Hate us because they hate us!
They hate us because they ain't us!
Okay, as we can see from reading this, it's not just Kyle with the inflated ego, but also Adam and all the other members of the Circle of Incel. Meet the team, Adam Hooper. Oh yeah, he looks like a winner. Co-founder, Adam started his sperm donation brand name in 2015, and with his high standards and screening processes, established a community in Australia that is now more popular than clinics. I highly doubt that. Receiving donations from online donors is now the #1 preferred method for recipients in Australia, and he wishes to replicate that for the people of USA. Can we pause real quick and talk about how terribly these sentences are written? The lack of grammar is astounding. He believes that knowing who your donor is so much more psychological beneficial for the child, and believes fresh sperm over frozen is far better for the donor conceived person's long-term health. He has created his own podcast and is always open to interviewing more American donors and recipients so they can share their American dream. Always open to media interviews and sharing his thoughts, knowledge, and vision. Adam has traveled all across his own country and donated overseas, and is open to traveling all over the world for people he connects with and wishes to use his services. He looks forward to touring USA one day and meeting some great people. He loves the American food, the sporting culture, and the history and traditions. Australia and USA are #1 allies, and we take this partnership into sperm donation. Okay, right away, I've had class projects in the 3rd grade where I wrote better sentences than the sentences I'm seeing here. This is actually embarrassing for our country. I hope you're not from the United States. Now let's see what Kyle's bio is. Kyle Gordy, we got a picture of Kyle with the beanie, head admin / co-founder / website owner. So we already know Kyle's gonna get really butthurt about this and try to get this video removed, because he's actually been actively trying to hit a whole bunch of content creators with defamation claims that are false, because it all falls under fair use. And he's the kind of person that is confusing, because you want to be famous so bad, but you don't want to receive criticism, and those two go hand in hand. So from all of us, stop being a little bitch. About Kyle Gordy teams up with Adam Hooper in July 2018 as the man to run Sperm Donations USA. Kyle started actively donating sperm at the age of 22 and has developed into the world's most popular donor, as an article from The Mirror has put it. Some American donors have been extremely jealous of Kyle, and some have tried to tarnish his reputation but have failed miserably in their actions. How bothered do you have to be to write that on your bio of your own website? Kyle has donated all around the United States and is often traveling. He plans on doing overseas tours all around the world and is open to any form of media. He also featured on episode 3 of Sperm Donation World Podcast. Then for donation methods, it says open to discussion, can travel, which is good news for all of the women that are lining up at the door to get his inferior genes. The next incel we got is John Cap. This is what he looks like. No cap. I can't believe that's his last name, but I'm pretty sure he's using an alias. In fact, I think all of these men are using an alias, because Alley Cat mentioned she's still trying to figure out what Kyle Gordy's real name is. I'll be honest, so far out of all the incels, John Cap is my favorite because he chose that as his last name. Let's see his bio. John began donating in 2015 and is a straight shooter when it comes to admitting when he isn't donating. He loves whitewater rafting and kayaking. Good to know that he likes whitewater rafting and kayaking. I'm sure that the women that are lining up at the door to get nutted in by these stud muffins want to know their activities. Forget about the genetic history, the family line, you know, any history of medical conditions. I want to know what hobbies these guys do. Oh, you were on the rowing team? Okay, let me just get ready. John also loves to travel, and he has been to Mexico and has 2 donor children there. One via IUI in a clinic, and the other was AI. In his college days, he did geology and anthropology and does engineering work. He has green eyes. Funnily enough, most kids result in having blue eyes. Wow, that is funnily. He also has rhesus negative blood and CMV negative, which makes him a perfect match for an RH negative recipient. Next up, we got Elaine Raby Bird, who is a woman, so I'm confused why she's here. Her position is moderator. About the pageant mom has an older daughter and wanted to give her a beautiful sibling, picking one of the greatest donors in the land. She has birth to her first donor child. Well, now that we met the circle of incel, why don't we take a look at that Reddit thread that I read in the last video posted by Alley Cat, because she left some very interesting comments when fans expressed their concerns about Kyle. Karmic Vision commented WTF TLC with a bunch of exclamation points, and then Alley Cat responded, by the way guys, this post took me literally 15 minutes to put together and write. right? I have a hard time believing TLC didn't know about this, as it's literally everywhere, and if I can find all this in that amount of time, it goes to show how problematic they've been in casting. Like the Bens, Big Preds, who literally had to go to court and settle when a woman sued him before the show for sexual assault and work harassment and stalking, and Jeffrey/abusive, Angie's, etc. This isn't just about a show now. This is about the future of women and the kids who are also born through him. That genetic mutation can and will kill and shorten the lifespan of children. And this man is a dangerous predator, not just a wannabe influencer. It's sick. Evil Hooker commented, I found all these videos super easily as well. The whole time I was deep diving into the scumbag, and I was thinking, TLC has definitely sunk to a new low. Someone needs to rescue that German woman on Love in Paradise. Alley Cat responded to this, as stated in my post, she also had the baby with him and she won the green card lottery back in 2015 and has lived in Florida since then. As in, she already knew him and had his kid when this filmed, and they were on vacation, not meeting for the first time. He also just had another kid on March 27th of this year. I found the article on that too. His World Sperm Organization site is deplorable. I found it after posting and put it in the comments. The whole site is him and two of his equally horrendous friends, and it talks about how you could skip genetic testing, not surprising as he has a genetic mutation that will kill or shorten the lifespan of children, and fake contracts that are void, etc. The whole site is sketchy and creepy, and he even goes into explanation on why natural is the best way to go and why I'll convince you of this. Looking through the site disgusts me more than anything else so far, and that's saying a lot. Very sweetie pie cutie pie Valley Cat to link that website. It's the one we previously read, and I'll be sure to link this entire Reddit thread in the bio of this video, so check it out if you have time. Socks, as I mentioned in our previous video, experts warn of the risks involved in private donor arrangements. In the case of prolific donors, there's a risk of sexual relationships occurring between siblings. Private sperm donation also puts recipients' health at risk by exposing them to sexually transmitted diseases. And these concerns that I once again brought up were not mentioned by Kyle at any point during the season of Love in Paradise when he was trying to justify what he does.
I get no money from this. I cover my own travel, my own cost.
Liar, liar, plants for hire.
Are we surprised though? Not really. Let's continue reading what Alley Cat had to say. Sorry for replying here, but it gets worse. This is the site Kyle started with his other extremely problematic friend who has also been in the news and is the first man to be told he's never allowed to donate ever again. As in, he legally cannot do this anymore for the first time in history because of how problematic he is with and drugging and abuse as well. I just found Kyle's organization, aka Sperm Donation USA. Oh my god, if you read half this shit here, it's disgusting. He talks about how you don't need to do genetic testing. No wonder why he tried to talk you out of it. He has dysautonomia, which is deadly to children, and fake contract write-ups that he acknowledges aren't even legal. Oh my god, guys, it gets worse and worse. Just flip through half of this page. I want to throw up, no joke. MainAD9025 commented, I feel like we should sign a petition to remove all his scenes from the show. This is just next level, like even worse than the worst from the previous seasons. Alley Cat responded to this, I mean, I don't mind making one, but the thing is that TLC doesn't care about change.org type petitions. We've had one for both Ed and Angela, and they literally had thousands upon thousands of signatures and don't care enough. I have been emailing bloggers, newspapers who wrote about him for the show. Someone with a big platform reached out to me and said they'd share this. I emailed TLC and TLC Casting, and although the two people I know who work on the show don't do Love in Paradise but 90 Day Show have been texted all this as well because they have to know someone due to it being Sharp Productions. I'm doing the best I can and I'll make one if I can figure it out, but until then I'm just making sure I can spread this out there ASAP too. In our last video we read out loud the conversation that Kyle had with one of his incel friends talking about how black girls' vaginas smell, which is interesting, right? Because when 90 Day fans found out that Alina, the Russian girl, wrote a racist Facebook post like 7 or 9 years ago, she was fired very quickly. So why is it that Kyle's not fired? Why do we not have the same energy for Kyle? Is it because he's an American? We'd all love to know the reason why, TLC. The way he was talking about women in the DMs with one of his incel friends was revolting, especially because you are no prize, Kyle.
You really come in sport clothes.
There's other people here with shorts though.
Oh,
you
really?
know? Yeah, I think it's normal to wear shorts. I've seen shorts around Malta.
I first got into sperm donation when I was doing research on sperm banks, and I realized they were just cold and clinical. So instead of doing them, I decided to do this freelance.
In the gym, I'm blasting graduation. All of a sudden, I get a notification that my video has been restricted in the UK due to anonymous complaints, and we know who that was from. Thanks a lot, Kyle.
Put them in, and so it, you know, they'll listen to the porn.
I'm gonna go off on a rant right now. You wanna be special so bad. All I did in my video was politely point out that you aren't special. And this is your response? Didn't we all grow up watching South Park and playing Call of Duty? I'm confused, right? You're 32 years old and this is how you handle criticism, right? Because how is it possible that someone that isn't a content creator can make these false allegations about a video that I posted publicly on YouTube and they are sided with over the creator? That doesn't make any sense because all that results in is the content creator and the platform as a whole making less money. And I want to be clear about this. I'm not trying to dish YouTube or anything. I just think that there's a certain way to go about it and this is not it. This is a business we're all running, guys. You can't side with somebody over the creators that make money on your platform. We can all make money together and it's a beautiful thing. How is it possible that immediately someone could fill out a BS report and they're believed at face value and all of a sudden my video's restricted in the UK? And it's not just the money, it's about the socks that live in the UK that support our channel and want to watch our videos. And this is in no way, shape, or form an isolated incident. I've seen many content creators speak up about people that misuse the copyright system, the defamation system. It's not fair because if anything, loyalty should be owed to the creators and they should be approached first before all of a sudden a video is restricted or blocked in multiple countries. Let me know what y'all think about this in the comments below. Once again, I'm going to get the situation figured out. I already appealed it and I'm sure that it's going to be lifted. I just think that the order in which this went down is very whack. And I don't want to come across as ungrateful because I'm fully aware that other content creators that have made videos about Kyle are getting hit with false defamation claims and their videos are getting blocked in more regions. So hopefully those restrictions get lifted because this man is a public figure that has been trying for years to become famous. Yet this is how he responds to any criticism that is thrown his way when all of his past transgressions are public. It's all public knowledge and all these content creators are doing is reporting on what is already known. That is in no way, shape, or form defamation. It is not damaging to your reputation. You already don't have a good reputation, Kyle. And if you continue down this path, there's just gonna be more and more videos shedding light on you because people aren't gonna back down. If anything, this is going to incite everyone to be more passionate about this topic, to talk about it more, because it's only a matter of time before what you're trying to do has serious repercussions. And YouTube just all of a sudden decides, you know what, this isn't a credible person because he keeps throwing out all these allegations about defamation and it's not true.
After having the miscarriage, I found out some things about Kyle that make me believe that his motives are not what he says that they are. It's because a conversation that me and him had afterwards, he was just telling me he needs to get these trips because he loves to travel and he loves his job because it gets him laid. More than likely, he's not trying this with same-sex couples. He is trying this with women who are trying to become single moms by choice. I did put my trust in Kyle because he knows exactly what to say and how to say it over the phone. But it's the meeting him in person and actually sitting down and spending time with him that you realize, like, something with this guy is very, very off.
I saw that recently. Daily Soap Dish's video also was restricted in the UK, and he put out a recent video titled 90 Day Fiancé Sperm Donor Kyle Gordy's Rare Genetic Condition Exposed in New Leaked DMs. This is a conversation that was sent to me by Daily Soap Dish. It is between Kyle, he goes by the name Jaden in Australia, and he's talking to one of his recipients. Kyle said, read article, everyone carries 4+ recessive decesses. I think he means recessive diseases. The recipient responded, so from my research, it's a mutation of the 9q32 gene. Is that correct? Kyle responded, no. Then she responded, "I'd like a copy of your test, please. This is my child." He goes on to say, "It's dystomia, wrong spelling. Call your doctor. He will tell you same thing. No issue. Everyone carries stuff. How many people you know have genetic testing? Maybe 6%. Just call your doctor. He will tell you no issue." Wow, Socks, are we surprised that Kyle's this unprofessional with the recipients of his seed? This poor woman's sweating bullets. She responds, "That's even worse." And then Kyle responds, "No, it's recessive. Everyone carries recessive genes for diseases. Just call your doctor. He will say same thing and say it's nothing." You're really trying to downplay the situation and go back to recessive genes. If you have a genetic condition, you should communicate that in advance to these women so that they can make their own decision whether they want to proceed or not. The problem is how sneaky you are. Omitting information is the same thing as lying. So after Kyle deflected and brushed off this woman's concern, she followed up with, "Moving forward, you need to tell people so they have informed consent, because if I was a carrier, there would be a 25% chance my child would have a disability." I've seen a lot of comments from Socks that the women are also to blame, and I completely understand where y'all are coming from. The problem is that he's not being transparent about the genetic conditions that he has before he's filling these girls up. And I think that's the real problem, is the trickery. And for Kyle, he said on the show that he covers all his travel expenses. We know that's not true. He claims everything is professional, but it isn't. He also claims no one pays him, but will ask for travel costs and hotels. Kyle said in the first episode of Love in Paradise that with Annie, he's hoping he found someone that can accept him for who he is, a terrible human being. He's never going to admit that he's a bad person, but we could already tell from his dead stare, the eyes don't lie.
Because it's like a drug addiction, you know, like donating to women and not stopping is like you're almost addicted to it.
I'm not addicted. No.
Clearly, when it comes to Kyle and Annie, they're using each other in different ways, and no one is more broken up about this than Tyree. He assumed that this was going to be like Beauty and the Beast, but it turns out that we're never going to get that Disney love story on 90 Day Fiancé or any of the spinoffs, because these days they're going for the shock value content and not the authentic content, and it sure do hurt a lot of fans' feelings. The point system that Kyle proposed to Annie off rip when he first met her at the airport was not only inappropriate, but very manipulative, and we all saw through it because right away he was trying to put himself on a pedestal. Kyle showed the audience that when Annie does a bad thing like smoking a cigarette, he's going to retract points, but when she does a good thing like smelling nice, he's going to add points. I'd like to imagine though, in an alternate reality, Annie applied the same point system to him and he was in the negatives by a lot. Alexander the Great was undefeated, 20 major battles, never turned his back on an enemy, running at the front of his troops, led by example. There's a speech on here that is incredible. I'm going to link it in our bio, that Alexander gave to his troops when they wanted to quit on him and go back to Macedon. And I'll tell you what, guys, he didn't have children. One of the biggest Giga Chads in history, that everyone begged to have children because they thought he was a demigod. He was that awe-striking. And he didn't have children, but this crumb wants to breed with all these women? No. This should bother every single dude that takes their life seriously and wants to level up and become better. And for the women that accepted his seed, want better for yourself. You deserve a stallion of a man, not this crumb. There's nothing we can do about it now. You can't turn back time. However, what we can do is get the word out, because this is a guy that moves in a very disrespectful, underhanded way, and everyone should know about it. Wow, would you look at the time? Unfortunately, Socks, that's all we have time for today, but I'm going to be making a follow-up video on Kyle Gordy and the circle of incel. Let me know what you think about him in the comments below. I'm going to see you guys in the next video. If you have some spare coin, check out our Yourwetsock channel membership program for the custom emojis, the exclusive content, all ad-free videos. 10 out of 10, totally worth.